what sold, what flopped, and opportunities that I never saw coming. Keep watching. Hello, my YouTube people. How you doing today? I am doing great. I hope that you are too. Well, my YouTube people, it has been a minute and wow, have I got a lot to tell you. I took my DIY skills offline and into a mall kiosk. So my last video, you saw me here in my room, in my studio, in a complete mess, taking apart all of my inventory and laying it out for the mall kiosk for the holiday season. So then I disappeared for a few months. I decided to fully engulf myself presently in the moment. What I learned completely changed how I looked at DIY. So I wanted to test DIY in real life. You know, I have done the flea market circuit and I've done the market circuit and I've done a couple of pop-ups, and those experiences were really fun. But I had never gone full-blown into a mall. My daughter's business, Headbanger Ravewear, came in with me and we shared the kiosk, and then we added some other items. So the way we did it, we split the kiosk in 4 sections. The first section, in the signature section, was the launch of Jingle Jeb. So this isn't really a holiday recap. This is a real life lesson video. I've been doing DIY online for a really long time. Yeah, I've done some pop-ups, I've done some markets, but very little and very far in between. We did a really fun ravewear pop-up for my daughter's brand in Las Vegas 2 years ago for EDC, and that was so much fun and we learned a lot. But this is DIY and it's a whole different ball game. So I wanted to test ideas. I wanted to get out there and see what people are buying. You know, I am a designer by profession, and it's kind of like my job to know this, but having experienced it in real life, like out there and in the whole thick of it, is a whole different experience. You get to see customers live. You get to see customers in real time. You get to see how they interact. You get to see how they kind of run from you when you're running a mall kiosk. Like if you're going to force them to buy something, you get to know the passerbyers, you get to know the mall walkers, and you get a real good sense of community. I've spoken to a lot of people, made a lot of great connections, and just got one with my community. And I didn't expect that I was gonna fall in love with that aspect. So I had my expectations of what I thought was going to sell. I had my expectations on what I didn't think was going to sell. And then I just didn't know. So let's talk about what surprised me. The first 2 things that sold really fast were the wine cups, the wine glasses that I had with cute sayings and cute verbiage and just really pretty graphics. Those people gravitated to instantly. The other thing that people came and talked to us about were customs. Then we described ourselves as the Etsy shop in the mall. We would have a 2 to 3 day turnaround on customs and really got to know what people were shopping for. I really like to give gifts from the heart. I like to give gifts from the heart. I like to really get to know a person and their personality and go from there. To me, gift giving isn't about how much money you can spend or who has the most expensive gift or, you know, anything like that. It's about what's going to reach the heart and sentiment. So, you know, this is where I really learned that people don't buy DIY the way I think people buy DIY. So our first week, we made mistakes. Big mistakes. Number 1 mistake was not having pricing on everything that we had there. I just think that people want to, you have about 2 seconds to grab somebody's attention, especially when they're walking around. So just to give you a little bit of insight, we had the kiosk right next to Santa, like right next to Santa, like 3 feet, and we were on Santa's lap. Like that was how close we were to Santa. So a lot of crying kids, a lot of parents just rushing by, a lot of frustrated parents rushing by, trying to keep the kids calm. And the one thing that I felt that we did that was really, really helpful for the parents is that we gave kids balloons. That kept them calm for a little while, and the parents really did appreciate that, and as a result they came and talked to us, and we got to know them a little bit better. We're at the mall and it's Thursday, Thanksgiving, and look, there's nobody here, and look, Santa. So we're gonna conduct mall shenanigans. So yeah, bye.
Look, it's Wally.
So funny. It's dark. This was so much fun, and we got to spend the entire month of December with this guy. Just made us all believe that he was the real thing. We were like, oh my God, it's him. It was like a celebrity. It was like reliving your whole childhood, and it was so much fun. How cool is it that we got to spend the whole month of December with this guy right here? Back to the pricing. We did not have pricing on every item so that it was really, really clear what they were getting within that 2 second span that they were walking by. We're kind of crowded. We had 4 sections. So the first section was Jingle Jeb, where we had it all really goth themed, goth related. It was really, really pretty. It was colorful. It was red, black, pretty much red, black. The kiosk was white. And we had the front section facing the food court and facing the mall with the Jingle Jeb display. To the part that faced Santa Claus, we had all of the custom things. We had all of the custom glasses, coasters, everything that we had custom jewelry. We had all of that just displayed on top, and we had custom candles. We had that facing Santa Claus. Facing the entrance of the mall, where there's an altar. This is where people would come into the mall. We were the first kiosk that they saw, so that was pretty cool. We had bridal and custom pet items. The reason we had bridal was because on the other side of us, so Santa was on this side, K Jewelers was there. So we decided to have a whole bridal display. Custom bridal shirts. We had a really, really cute shirt that said, "Will you marry me?" with 2 little boxes, yes or no. And we made that really bridal centric. So then that side facing K Jewelers, we also had my daughter's rave wear t-shirts where she had like really, really cool graphics. She had ornaments. It was like we had jewelry section there. We had our keychains there. So every area of the kiosk, we had something, but nothing had prices. We didn't have signage. So that was mistake number 1. Signage and pricing. Key to getting people's attention and bringing people to our booth, because our prices were really good. Like what I mean by signage, keychains, $10, and have that really visible. The other thing that we really didn't think about was how were people going to pay us. We had one of those POS systems from Shopify, but it was one of the ones that you swipe the card. So we decided to go on our phones and get the POS system from Shopify installed in our phone, so that way people can tap. So that was definitely a lifesaver. But how did they know that? How did they know what we were going to accept? Again, signage. So then we decided to put signage up with QR codes so they can just press the QR code and it would lead them directly to payment, or we had the tap system. So signage and pricing, guys. This is key. This should be like the number one thing that you plan aside from your product, of course. Display is also really, really important. We had one of those kiosks where we had counter space, but then the product was in glass shelves underneath, so people kind of like had to crouch down. So we like to utilize the counter and give it a little bit of height with some clear acrylics where we would place our items, and we would place our items on top. That was a little bit exhausting because every night when we left, we literally had to clear off those counters and put all that stuff away. And that was really, really exhausting. So, having a system where you can easily bring your display out and take it down at the end of the day is really going to help you. Height played a definite part in the way people looked at the items. It attracted people from far away when you have a little bit of height variation and not everything looks so cluttered. So definitely play around with different height, different scale, and different ways that you're going to display that product. So we had all of the wine glasses together, but in front of it we had little shot glasses. Then we had the candles, and then we had more like coffee mugs. So there was a natural progression with the colorful candles like in the middle. So on that one particular handle, on that one particular counter, we had cups, mugs, and candles. Everything that we did custom in the display. We had the jewelry, we had our trinket trays, and we had more cups down at the bottom. So again, you want to maximize and minimize at the same time. And what do I mean by maximize and minimize? You don't have to have 10 of one item on display. One or two items of the kind will, it's almost more important to have one or two items of a kind and the signage of what it is and what the price is, as opposed to 10 items that that crowd up your counter space. People will get the gist on what it is that you sell. You don't want to overwhelm them, especially if they're walking by with all of the activities going on, especially next to Santa. And if they're rushing, you're gonna miss it because they're gonna get completely overwhelmed. Now stay tuned so I can tell you, keep on watching so I can tell you the biggest takeaway from this mall experience, because this is something that I never expected in a million years. Of course, you always have to deal with the people that are just going to walk by and completely ignore you, but it's really, really important to greet people as they walk by. And, you don't have to hound them when they come to the booth. Just say, hi, how you doing? Welcome to the booth. Let me know if you need any help or if you're looking for something particular, and leave them alone. People don't want to be crowded when they are shopping. Think about it like this. How would you like to be approached if you went to a mall kiosk and were looking around? If somebody was just hounding you, it kind of like turns you off, especially when people are getting overstimulated, especially with the location of where we were. We were next to the food court, next to Santa, and next to the entrance. So a lot of people can get overwhelmed sometimes when people are on them, asking them if they can help them with something. Do they need anything specific? But just be, we were just really, really conscious about how people were looking, and we kind of like read the room. So you have to gauge the energy of being in public. If you are an introverted person, then this is really not for you. You have to be energetic, you have to be bubbly, because if you're not, then people are not really going to be attracted to your energy. We had music playing, we were interacting with the kids, we had balloons, we made it really, really fun. We wanted to be the kiosk that people gravitated to, even if it was just to say hi, to tell somebody they were beautiful, to compliment them on their outfit, or just to tell them to have a happy holiday experience. What I did learn was at the downtime. There were downtimes at the mall. There were highs and there were lows. So with our downtime, I started to make demonstrations. I started to actually make DIYs. I was making these jewelry boxes and I was decoupaging. And people like when people are actively doing something that they can see. You know, they like when people are drawing, they're like, oh, it piques their curiosity. So they want to come over and talk to you just to see what you're doing. So that is going to help you, especially as a DIYer, doing some kind of craft fair or at a mall kiosk. If you are actively doing something in your downtime, you're going to attract those people that are naturally curious, and that sparks conversation. You know, this is where you are going to learn where your customer sees the value in what you're selling. But don't be so eager to break down your prices because you're panicking, because you're afraid that nobody is going to buy from you. We were a little bit proactive. We took a little bit of a different approach when it came to selling what we were making. We knew that there were other places in the mall that were really, really hyped up and were really inflating their prices. You know, the climate of the times is, you know, people are not going to have a lot of money to spend on things, especially things that are like DIY, that are really going to be stocking stuffers and not something that you would primarily give as a primary gift. When people are at the mall, you know, they are at the bigger retailers looking for the things that are on their loved one's wish list. And I don't want to say we have to know our place as DIYers, but what we are offering is probably going to be perceived as a stocking stuffer or as an extra gift. So we have to be really creative with how we presented things. Bundling things is really, really cool. You know, the custom thing was really, really cool because we got the people that had absolutely no idea what they were going to get people. And we started to ask them things like, what kind of personality do they have? What kind of things do they like? What colors do they like? What scents do they like? When we were talking about candles. And then they were like, oh, well, do you guys do custom? I said, yeah, we can do this custom for you based on what they like. We can customize everything that's in our booth. We can customize for you, and people like that. Then it started to become something to those type of people that was the primary gift, because, and I don't want to say that they were shopping for secondary, for people that were secondary or you know, third on their list, but it was definitely the people that we got were definitely the people that didn't know or were stuck with what to get certain loved ones, like grandma or an aunt or a cousin, or you know, something like that. Talking to people is crucial, especially, well, not talking to people like, do you need anything, let me know, or can I help you, or not like that. Casually talking to people creates conversation, lighthearted conversation. You crack some jokes, you know, you talk about, oh, you know, Santa and kids and, you know, things like that. And then people, they'll come over and they're like, oh, what do you have? Well, we have this. Oh, well, I'm shopping for my grandma. She's difficult to shop for. And I said, well, what does your grandma, what does she like? What doesn't she like? And we had some very funny wine glasses with very funny, quirky sayings. So we sold a lot of those glasses because it served the person's personality. So when you are going to when you're opening a kiosk at the mall, think about potential personalities in people. Think about people's grandma, people's aunts. You know, what are their personalities? Are they grumpy? People's grandpa, do they like beer? Do they like golfing? You know, are they particularly patriotic? We did sell some glasses for Nono, you know, and that was little bit of a surprise because I never had that request. But hey, lo and behold, what is your grandfather like? Well, he likes wine. Oh, we can customize a wine glass with his name or what you call him, with a flag of Italy as a coaster. And we bundled that, and we did a lot of those. We did put a lot of photographs on wine glasses and cups. But all of that stemmed from conversation because, of course, we didn't have those items displayed. We had wine glasses and we had, other things like with other images, but we didn't have photos. So that's where I'm going to go back to signs and have signs that say we do customs, we do personalizations. Have those signs in multi languages. If you're in an area that has a lot of Spanish speaking people or whatever language it is that they speak, try to have those signs in those languages so that people can understand that you cater to them, and they can understand what it is that you do. This is the time when I realized that kiosks aren't just about selling, it's about visibility. It's about ideas that you never really planned. But how are people going to know that if you don't talk to them? So, really, what does this change? So, this experience kind of completely changes how I'm approaching this channel. I'm going to be focusing on more intentional DIYs because I have found, and what other people have told me, is that I have a knack and for turning DIYs into something that you can sell. I have a knack on showing people how to take creative items, creative hobbies, and turn them into business ventures. So, of course, I want to go towards what I'm good at. And, over 50 and reinventing yourself and, trying to have a retirement plan, you want to go for what works. And most importantly, I want to go with what feels right to me. So I'm going to go into more intentional DIY. What does this mean? I am going to now teach you what you can actually sell if you're going to go towards a market or towards mall kiosks. We have to design products the way people live their lives. And that is my takeaway from this whole experience. Not what I think they were going to. I'm really glad that I had this experience because what I thought people would be interested was a little bit different than what they were actually interested in. I want to bring you more real world usable products. I want to teach you how to bundle things to maximize your sales. I want to teach you how to become less trendy, more classic, and more intentional. So if you're a DIYer who's ever thought about pop-ups, craft fairs, or selling at a mall kiosk, selling in real life, then this is going to be for you. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to make my creative DIYs because that's just who I am. But I am going to show you, in conjunction with me creating these things, how you can branch these off into a lucrative business. So if you want me to break down exactly what's sold, how I price things, or how to actually prep for a mall pop-up, leave me a message in the comments. So now, this is something that I never really expected. I've always dabbled with this thought in my head, and I just never thought that it would come to me as clearly as it did. And I'm so glad that I did this mall kiosk because had I not done it, it would have still been a thought in the back of my mind. So people came up and said, well, how can I learn how to do this? Do you do classes? I said, well, I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, but do you do classes? So I stumbled upon an opportunity to team up with somebody at the mall, continue the kiosk, and actually start to teach in-person classes on how to do these DIYs. I am so excited, guys. I am now going to get closer to the community. And it's just so exciting to just see the looks on people's faces when they get that aha moment. I am a YouTuber and I love my YouTube community, but I would love to see the expressions on your faces when you have that aha moment on when you're actually creating something. So in addition to bringing videos to you, I am now going to experience those aha moments in teaching my in-person classes. So if you're in the New York area, look me up. Come take one of my classes. I would love to have you. So I hope that this has been helpful. I will drop more videos as I go along explaining this process. Yeah, guys, if you want any video ideas or if you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will surely address that. I have missed you guys so much. I thank you so much for supporting me. Even in my absence, I had been thinking about you and ways to get back to my YouTube community and just let you know and teach you everything that I learned with my mall experience, because I want to teach you how to make your hobby into income. Everybody needs a little extra income, and that's what I'm here to teach you. It wasn't just a kiosk, it was a door opener. This is a long-term win. A, it got me closer to my community. I met some really, really cool people that I'm really glad I met. This kiosk created custom orders, but like really custom personal orders. Not just having a name slapped across any generic thing that you had. Real custom personal orders. It created class requests. It created party bookings. And it created content ideas, because now I have a clearer focus on what I want to come and offer you. How can I serve my YouTube community best? How can I bring you something that you can take and really branch off into? The biggest value wasn't what I sold, it was what the kiosk unlocked. And that is the opportunity to reach people inside, to give gifts from the heart, and to come teach you something that you can value and you can really use. So until the next one, my YouTube people, mwah, thank you so much for all of your support. It's so good to be back here with you. I have missed you so much. Big hugs for everybody who has reached out and asked me where I've been. Thank you for your accountability, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.